Lesson 35. Living as a Sovereign Master. Beloved and holy friends, I come forth to abide with you because I love you. Always and forever we are joined in the place of love. Always and forever we are joined in the place of reality. Always and forever I am but your brother and your friend. You have many brothers and many sisters in what you call the disembodied state, who know you and who love you, and do not come closer to you than you are willing to allow. And that allowance is always the result of your decision to claim your worthiness to have communication that can enlighten you. You are indeed entirely sovereign at all times. You and you alone create the thought, the belief, the perceptions that you wish to experience. These then crystallize into the form of your experience, even into the physical dimension. Remember then, in this conclusion of the way of knowing, that there is never a time that you see anything that exists outside of you. Everything you see originates within you, since the only thing you can see is the way in which you choose to cloak or drape the mysterious energy of creation. Every neutral event, every moment of arising, is merely energy given to you on a silver platter, given to you freely that you as consciousness might choose to have the opportunity to create experience by cloaking that energy that has been presented to you with the perceptions and belief that you have chosen for yourself. You have heard me say unto you many times that only love is real. You have heard me say unto you many times that it is not necessary to seek for love, but it is necessary to seek for what is false. Creating as a master. In all the previous lessons you have been given many, many tools and much deep and profound understanding to assist you into the simple decision of complete responsibility for every moment of your experience. For in the end I can give you only this. I cannot relieve you of what you may perceive yet to be the burden of the fact that you are constantly creating, that you are indeed a creator. Likewise, I would not wish to unburden you from the incredible, shimmering awareness and responsibility, the freedom, the fun of knowing that as a sovereign master of your domain, you are free to create whatever your heart most truly desires. The secret, then, as I shared with you many times, is to practice seeking first the kingdom. Never let a day go by in which you fail to ponder the great mystery of God's presence. Never let a morning go by that you fail to begin your day except in this way. Surrender all thought of what you know and have believed. Rest in gratitude to the one who has birthed you. Ask only to be revealed for your greater truth, greater wisdom, greater capacity to know, and extend perfect love, perfect trust, and perfect peace. In the way of knowing, we come to the great culmination that you are indeed as I am, that in each moment of your soul's journey you have literally created the worlds of your experience, just as I did when I walked upon your plane, just as I continue to do now. How then has it occurred that this form of communication could take place? It is not so much that I cleverly set up a labyrinth of doorways to draw you to this teaching, so that I could connect with you, but rather I rested in my desire to extend the atonement. By creating that desire, I began to create a vibrational field emanating from my mind out through creation. That vibration alone is not enough, but where it resonated with the deepest desire of my brother to know the Christ mind, to find a way to serve, to indeed heal and awaken from any last trace of illusion, a connection was formed. It is like two wires dancing about, their dance caused by the movement of energy through them, until their energy touches, joining the tips of the wires together. This process has occurred between my mind and yours, or you would not be reading this book, you would not have heard of Shanti Cristo, and you would not have heard of me. Recognize, then, your own power, for you have attracted me unto yourself, as I have attracted you to me. In each moment of all of your relationships, whether they be with people, places, or things, learn to pause long enough, which only takes a few seconds, and say within yourself, I am in the moment of this relationship, because I have called this to myself. There is, then, something within me that vibrates or resonates perfectly with the other. Again, this is true whether that be a person, place, or thing. True change, then, can occur not when you recognize that you do not like the relationship you are in, of person, place, or thing, and therefore take steps to get yourself out of it, but rather when you recognize that the relationship and what is occurring within it must be the result of something within your own consciousness. Therefore, what is unlikable in that moment of relationship is merely the flowering of a seed potential or vibration that you have been holding in the depth of your own being. It is then a simple thing to seek first the kingdom, to rest in that simple knowingness, and to gently inquire of the Holy Spirit to teach you, to reveal to you what you have held as a true belief that is indeed false. As you then see why you have been holding that belief, and how it has manifested the world of your experience, you then are quite free to choose anew. It is just at this point where so often the mind becomes fearful and says, but at least I know this. I do not know what is unknown. But I say unto you, there is nothing unknown, there is nothing unknown to you. For there is nothing until you decide to choose for it. This is why desire is the first key to the kingdom. Freedom can only come to the mind that truly assumes complete responsibility for the creation of its experience, so that at any moment it recognizes that the thoughts, the perception, and the feelings coursing through the emotional body are arising within the sovereign domain of that soul's being. They are uncaused, save again for the seed thoughts or perceptions that the mind or the soul has chosen to value for itself. Life, then, offers you your way out. When things don't seem to be working and your peace is missing, this is actually a sign to you that there must be some belief or perception that you are clinging to which does not work. You are free, then, to seek it out, to inquire, and then to change it. I have often recommended to you that you cannot transcend what you first failed to embrace. Therefore, look well upon your creation and bless him. If it is in fact that your car has just broken down along the freeway, and the wheels have fallen off, and the motor stopped, and the doors have crumbled to dust, bless it, for that context of experience will take you into your tomorrows. There is no moment, then, there is no moment in which you have failed. As a sovereign master, and indeed the literal embodiment of the mind of God, you have used your freedom to create experience. Embrace it. Rest in gratitude for it. Own it as completely yours. Then simply ask, do I wish to continue it, or would I like to start a new adventure? You will be creating new adventures eternally, for there is no moment that creation ends. Mind or soul is the vortex, the vehicle through which creation extends itself from the field of infinite possibility into the realization of manifold particularities. Beloved friends, you are indeed as I am. I am rather enjoying my domain. I am unlimited by space and time, and have no longer any need whatsoever for the unique forms of experience that can come through the crystallization of what you call the body, what some of you still mistakenly call yourself. You then are very much at play in the kingdom, like a child in a sandbox, and each event that arises for you need not be judged. I have shared with you many times that it is the egoic mind that compares and contrasts. Therefore, never compare or contrast your experience with another person's. Yours is unique. And though the world would say perhaps that your experience is not as valuable because you are only worth $20,000 and somebody else is worth $400 million, therefore they have manifested more powerfully, that is simply not true. For manifestation is simply the expression that reveals where the mind has been focusing. The real power is the very mystery that anything can be manifested at all, and you are free to constantly choose anew. Cultivate, then, a very childlike attitude toward all of your experience. Learn to ponder it. Learn to wonder about it, to look upon it like a father does to a child, like your father does to you. Behold, I have created all things, and it is good. In your Bible, in the creation story that is told there, it is said that God said something like that, for God looked upon all she had created and said, behold, it is very good. You are the father of your creations. You are the father of your thoughts, your attitudes, and your choices. Look upon all these things and say, behold, it is very good. For goodness begets goodness. Judgment begets judgment. For nothing can produce except that which is like itself. An acorn cannot produce a fish. A man and woman cannot produce an acorn. The thoughts you hold about yourself will reproduce themselves. When you look upon all things as good, goodness will be begotten from that decision. Each time, then, that you have chosen to hold a negative thought about yourself or about anyone, you have only ensured the kind of inconsistency in your mind that interrupts the power of your ability to create more and more as a living embodied master. This can only be because you have held deep within the mind some belief that says, no matter what I do, it won't work out. There is some conflicted belief. A belief in goodness and a belief in evil create a conflict that must entrap a soul. Perceiving is a master. Therefore, indeed, beloved friends, if you are to complete this study of the way of knowing, then know this. As you think, so shall you be. How you think, how you choose to perceive and believe, will determine what you see in the world. And what you believe you see will determine how you act. It will determine the friends you keep, the kind of career you create, where you live, and how you feel. In other words, if you hold the thought that you cannot trust the universe to support you, you will look out and see the world that seems self-evidently to reveal to you that such a thought is true. You will then create behaviors to insulate yourself and never let the world know what you want. And then, of course, you will wonder why life seems to go on as it always has. Learn always to inquire, not out into the world, but into yourself. If I am having this experience, what must I have believed to be true about myself and about the world? The truth will come through prayer and through honesty. When you discover it, you will know it. Then use the sovereign power of free choice given unto you, which is the truth of the kingdom, to choose otherwise. A master cannot blame, and a master can never perceive himself or herself as having been victimized. Yet this mastery does not come through special spiritual power. It comes only through a simple and free choice. Remember I said earlier that you are constantly creating your experience. You are free in this moment and in every moment to simply say, I think I will adopt the perspective of a master. No sense in blame, no sense in feeling like a victim. What I am experiencing is wholly mine. I must therefore have wanted it. Always be very careful that you do not judge what is occurring, for that is the fault that people fall into, saying, why did I call this to myself? This is a horrible experience. Why, oh, why did I want this? All that is judgment and not gratitude. I learned at the crucifixion that I could feel and experience gratitude for my persecutors. I could feel gratitude for the whole context of experience that I had chosen to call to myself, in order to discover that there are no circumstances powerful enough to prevent me from choosing for love. In the end, can there be a more powerful experience to call to yourself than that? Not the crucifixion with nails in your wrists, but rather the power to see that in every moment of birth and death, of coming and going, that nothing prevents you from the deep peace and joy of choosing to love. For love is not conditioned by the conditions of the world. How can it be, when the world does not exist? Only you exist, as a field of awareness that chooses to create perception and belief. Beloved friends, the world is unreal. In the end, the body is unreal, at least as you perceive it to be. For the body cannot limit you in any way. You already extend so far beyond it that it seems unimaginable and completely unbelievable. You are indeed the thought of love and form, but that form is not the body. It is merely the thought or a reality that is Christ. Christ is the essence of your higher self. Christ is the truth of who you are. The role of the body, then, can only be to bless, to comfort, and to extend love. Two lovers find the fulfillment of their love-making in your physical plane when each delight only in blessing, comforting, and extending love. Each learns to receive that desire from the other as an act of love towards that one. One says, oh, let me massage your shoulders, and the other responds, okay. For relationship is the means of your salvation, and holy relationship is always a simple, joyful dance of two who recognize truly that only love is real and they want nothing else. You are indeed a sovereign master of your domain. You cannot fail at any moment. Any form of experience that is unfolding for you is merely the fruit of the seeds of thought that you have planted within your mind. Look at the outcome in order to discover the thought. First say, what a good girl am I, or a good boy am I? That was a rich experience. Then merely ask, I wonder what I might most want to experience now. For rest assured, you will experience it. You can either claim dominion over your life and become the conscious director of your life experience, or you can abdicate it to someone else, such as your government, your employer, or what have you. You are totally free to do that if you remember to claim it as a sovereign act, such as, I am commuting 2 hours of this freeway to the job I don't like and commuting home for 2 hours every day. Because of the sovereignty of my total mastery, I choose to do that, for that is the only reason you can find yourself in any place at any time. As a sovereign master, you are free to follow me. You are free to choose only your loving thoughts. You are free to remember only your loving thoughts. You are free to embrace whatever comes up that may be unlike love and simply accept that it must be an old seed getting cooked, and you are free to embrace it with love. This is why there can be no feeling that must be judged or avoided. Feelings of despair or feelings of sadness are merely something left over from a past thought. In the act of embracing them, you have already decided with love, and love alone heals all things. Just think of this. As a sovereign master, you choose, without lifting a finger, to call into the domain of your experience a form of communication with an ancient friend, Jeshua ben Joseph. Out of the field of your sovereign domain as a living master, you have chosen to bring the way of mastery in your domain. You have chosen to bring that called Shanti Christo in your domain. There must be a reason for it. There must be a desire for it. Is that not the desire to discover ever more deeply if there is anything possibly obstructing you from experiencing greater joy, greater peace, greater wisdom, and greater Christed consciousness? Indeed, beloved friends, a master never ceases in growing himself or herself. A master is never finished. Do not think that you can come to the end of some form of experience, perhaps even the death of a body-mind, and suddenly be at the finish line. For there is no such thing as a finish line. There's only realms that you can grow into which creation is indeed far more blissful than it is in the physical domain. But creation continues. Your responsibility and your sovereignty and your dominion continue. For the further you go into God, the greater the responsibility, for you are dealing with greater power. Thus the need for vigilance and discipline does not go away. It increases, but a master welcomes it. For through it, even greater creations can flow through their holy mind. Do you know that it is possible to birth an entire solar system with a single thought? Now, if you ever baked a very good chocolate cake, you know something of what it means to create. If you have ever written a poem, if you have ever birthed a child, if you have ever planted a seed and watched it grow, then you know and understand the great satisfaction of creating. Imagine merely holding a thought in the mind and then experiencing the actual birthing of an entire solar system. It is indeed a great delight. Imagine birthing that which is called A Course in Miracles merely by holding a thought of it in its completed form, and then letting that wave emanate and join with another mind, who happens to be in the physical domain and does all the work. That is the power that is available to you. Blessing all of your creations, as you choose to embrace yourself as a master, as you choose to look upon each and every moment of your experience as a holy self-created that is waiting for your blessing, you come to see that there is power and freedom in choosing to bless with gratitude all of your creation. And then to say, this has been so fantastic, it might be fun to have something even greater happen now. It was great being with that lover, but what the heck, they have just recently died, so I think I'll open up something even greater. It is that kind of attitude that expands the kingdom, the domain of your consciousness, until the day arises when the physical universe can no longer contain you, and you will simply outshine the body itself. This has occurred. Some minds have outshined the body before the body was ready to die. They merely dissolved in light, and that was the end of it. It was not necessary, however, to do so. For the experience of what is called death in your world is just another experience. If you bring your awareness to it, you will discover in the day of what you call death that it is actually rather delightful. As your attention withdraws from the body, you become the witness of the gasping of the lungs, the building up of the fluid, and you watch it with disinterest. For you are already vibrating in the energy of bliss, which is the essence of your soul. Death, then, is quite simply nothing. Claiming sovereign mastery. Beloved friends, in the culmination, then, of the way of knowing, I ask you, as your equal, and as your brother and as your friend eternally, to claim in this hour complete sovereign mastery over your domain. Discover what has not yet been embraced and owned, for those things are disassociated in your psychological language. That which has not been embraced by you imprisons you. There is a doorway to perfect freedom. There is a doorway into what looks like the unknown, except that there is no such thing as the unknown, for nothing exists until you call it to yourself. In this study, then, of the way of knowing, let its culmination be that as this lesson ends and you close the book, let it be the last act you ever do with a mind that says, I'm still trying to get there. I'm still a victim of the world I see. When you finish these lessons, let these attitudes be finished entirely. It requires only the willingness to say in each moment, this must be what I have called to myself. Do I wish to continue it, or would I choose something else? The world you have made is only an illusion. Nothing that has been constructed must remain unless you desire it. If you continue the structure of your life, career, relationship, whatever it is, recognize that you are doing so out of the sheer delight of wanting the experience. If you prefer, you can let it crumble and start anew. You are free to clear out your bank accounts, give away all your material possessions, sign over your house to someone else, give your car keys to somebody, and simply start walking down the road with nothing but the clothing on your back. You are totally free to do that. And out of the power of your desire, you will attract situations that provide a place to sleep, food to eat, new experiences, new friends. At no time can anyone be a victim. Yet at any time, consciousness is free to perceive itself as having been victimized. This is merely the choice to create a form of experience. We might share with you that victimization is one of the booby prizes, chosen pervasively by humanity, the victim game. Many are quite committed to seeing how well they can play it out. One could see that the victimization game has affected virtually every mind in the human domain. You are not a victim if indeed tomorrow your doctor tells you you have cancer and you have 15 days left to live. I wish you would have come in earlier. I would have given you possibly 45 days. Simply say to yourself, oh, what a rich experience this might be. I have 15 days to go into the death of the body with total consciousness, complete forgiveness, and perfect peace. Wow, what an amazing opportunity I've called to myself, for cancer is not a failure. Indeed, we would behold, in much of your so-called New Age movement, that there is much judgment, much abhorrence of anything that does not look like manifesting wealth, having perfectly curved hips, and a multitude of loving friends. That is a naive attitude. But the soul's sovereignty is rich beyond measure. Wherever you are, you read these words, you are living sovereign mastery now. You are free to create anew any time you wish, but understand that the experience you are having, when embraced and loved and accepted totally as being uncaused by anything but your own awareness, when you can delight in that, you are free. You are free. And you have already risen above and gone far beyond the most successful beings that humanity would say are successful. Do not, then, be succumbed to the shimmering lights of the world, the great tinsel of the tree, for all that matters is this. Am I at peace? Do I bring love to each moment? Do I accept with great humor that all that I have experienced has been by my own design, an interesting game, and perhaps a joke played upon myself? Look upon the world and say, there is nothing I need here, but I choose to be here to see who I can love, how I can love, and what enjoyment I might create. Peace, then, is always the goal of a spiritual journey, that peace that passes all understanding, for if you have listened well to what I have shared with you in this lesson, 95% of it seems like mere gibberish in the world that would say, it cannot be that way. It turns the world upside down, rips it inside out, and makes it valueless. But it makes you valuable. It places you at the right hand of God. This is what you were birthed for. This is where you remain, for love waits on your welcome. So I greet you indeed, beloved friends, as my equal. I greet you as a sovereign master, co-creators, perfect divine expressions of creativity, ceaselessly creating all that you would choose to experience. I never lament the pain that you experience. I never feel sorry for your suffering. I merely wait in love for the truth of your being and offer assistance to you when you are willing to grow, to heal, to forgive, to expand, and to enlighten your being. Great freedom can come when in the midst of something that you feel to be great suffering, you choose to laugh and say, look at this one. What an amazing script I have written here. I ought to win the Oscar. Who could have done this one better than this? And rest assured, you are speaking to one who had some experience at writing rather interesting scripts of suffering. Beloved friends, look lovingly upon the world you have created. Look with perfect forgiveness now upon the simplicity of your physical domain. For the life of the body-mind arises and passes away in a few cosmic seconds. You can delight in sensory experience in the cruel beauty of time without ever believing that it should be different than it is. It is merely shadow. It is merely a disguise that you have laid upon a mysterious energy, for you indeed have birthed the physical domain itself. You might as well relax and enjoy it. Behaving as a master. In each and every one of your days, live and behave as a master lives and behaves. When first you realize that you are awake in the physical domain in the morning, choose love. Choose to relax the body-mind into a state of deep prayer and give thanks to your Creator. Hold in your mind's eye all of your domain, your relationships, your careers, your physical objects, and say, behold, it's been a lot of fun. Then simply ask, I wonder if there is anything I might like to move toward changing in order to experience greater joy, deeper peace, more certain wisdom, and more loving relationship. If something comes into your mind, do not blame it, do not judge it, but simply begin to wonder about how you might like to see it changed. Hold that as a desire in the depth of your consciousness. If its energy builds during the course of the day, simply begin to say it, write it out, get a picture of it, hold your desire in your heart, and you will indeed bring it to pass. For you see, manifestation occurs instantaneously in the field of the mind that is no longer conflicted with opposite kinds of thoughts. So if anything seems to be manifesting slowly for you, first of all, it simply may be that it is part of your script. That is a journey you are taking. A walk from one village to the next allows a much richer experience in taking a taxi. It may also be because you have some conflicted belief in your mind and therefore in the cells of your body. That is not in alignment with what you would wish to desire. For instance, often the human mind will say, I desire a perfect loving relationship, but deep in the quiet of the mind is the thought, except I don't deserve it, I'm unlovable. When that has been repressed or disassociated, it will run you and conflict or take away all your power to create or to attract a desire. Therefore, when you desire, look well and watch with subtle vigilance what contrary thoughts seem to also come up in the mind. Then follow those contrary thoughts that they become crystal clear. You may even discover where they began. Feel whatever feelings may be associated with them, and then return to what you desire until you feel that all of your being is in perfect alignment with it. For then you begin to create yourself as a resonating station to which those things will be called that help align your external world in the physical domain to express the desire you have created. One who, for instance, creates a lifestyle of financial independence after 20 or 30 years from one perspective has accomplished a great deal, but from another has taken a very long, slow way to get there. Everyone is free to create what he or she desires. Everyone is free to do so because they are doing it now. Look well, then, to the feeling and thought coursing through you. Look well to the physical environment in which you find yourself. Look well to the objects that you have surrounded yourself with and simply say, all of these things demonstrate to me what I have chosen to desire, and it is very good. That statement of love and acceptance is the doorway to expansion of your mastery. For in truth, as the master awakens to what you have been doing all along, the most natural thing in the world is to create greater joy. Service is the greatest source of joy, and the highest level of joy is to manifest service to the atonement. That is why perhaps one gives up a job in a corporation to go and start to make videos that can help get a good message out to the world. That is why someone ceases to work in a doctor's office and becomes a messenger for Jeshua. That is why someone drops out what they are doing in a corporate career and becomes a minister, because within them the soul has said, all right, enough of that experience, I want greater joy. And the pathway to greater joy is to join with like minds that are creating and extending contexts in which other minds can awaken. That is why many of you have attracted Dushanti Christos to join together, to use your golden coins, to use your voice, to use your lips, to use your hands, to use your feet, to help participate in the creation of context in which the atonement can occur. Service, then, is the natural outflow of a heart filled with the gratitude of grace. Masters are never found struggling to survive in something they do not like. They would frankly rather sit on a street corner, asking passerbys for a nickel or two to get a cup of coffee. Meanwhile, they are too busy smiling and waving and blessing everyone that walks by because they would rather love than look good in the world. A master has no choice but to serve not from duty but from joy. For the greatest joy can be to extend the good, the holy, and the beautiful. Therefore, when you choose active participation in serving the atonement, you will discover that you will indeed be well supported, and all of the events that occur are merely opportunities to deepen your capacity for wisdom, for peace, and for love, to create within yourself a conduit for the extension of greater love into the world, not because you must, but because you have chosen to serve, and you have chosen to serve because it is the greatest source of joy. If then you resist service, it must mean that there is some seed thought within you that is in conflict with the desire to serve. For once you have achieved mastery, there is nothing else to do but serve. So indeed, beloved friends, we come then very gently and by way of summation to give the culmination of the way of knowing. The truth is, you have been a master all along. You cannot help but be one, for you are constantly creating your experience. You are free now to create differently. How to do that? Do not get up out of your chair and rush about, but why not decide right now to experience happiness, to experience peace, and to experience the knowledge that you are a master? How do you do that? By choosing to. Simply decide right now for the next 30 seconds to be happy, and then choose another 30 seconds to be at peace, and then another 30 seconds to simply and quietly look around you and say, behold, I am indeed the master of my domain, and all that has been very, very good. Thank the chair that you are sitting in for coming into your domain. Thank the vase of the flowers on your table. Thank the electricity bill that comes in the mail. Thank all things as blessings that come to you. For to fail to do this contracts your power to continue to expand and to create what you enjoy. To believe that you are in lack at any time is to create lack in your tomorrow. Therefore, choose now to feel perfect abundance and joy, and then behave as one who knows they live in abundance. I love you. You love me. This communication will never cease. Why? Because I have no intention of withdrawing myself from extending the Christ mind to anyone who will receive it. We are indeed joined in the place of perfect love. Creation is merely a harmless game, done for the simple enjoyment of creating. Become then as a little child, for every master is a little child, delighting in the great mystery and the seeming surprise of discovering the power that can move through them. Always move toward what you enjoy. Always follow your heart. Do not follow the reactive ego that says, oh no, I don't want to go there because that feels uncomfortable. Nothing is uncomfortable. It is just another opportunity to have an experience to broaden your capacity to love. How can I say that? Try the crucifixion. It was not uncomfortable once I embraced it. This is why, by the way, and some of you have done this, why human beings can walk on fire and not burn their feet. Why? because they choose to do so and have a good experience, and everything in them is unconflicted for at least the minute or so it takes to do the firewalk. That gives them a taste of what is possible always. Use then your time to cultivate the garden of a healed mind. Never believe that you do not hold the power to change the energy you feel in your emotional body, to change the thoughts held within the mind. You are free to birth whatever you so desire, and nothing can serve as a limit to you. You are free. You are home. You are as I am. Peace then be unto you always, precious, precious friends. Amen. End of A Way of Knowing.